What if I told you there's one simple food, not a drug, not a supplement, but a real, affordable, everyday food that has been clinically shown to reverse muscle loss, even in seniors over the age of 75? I know that sounds bold, maybe even unbelievable, and trust me, if I hadn't seen the data myself, I'd be just as skeptical, because we've been told that age-related muscle loss is inevitable, that after 60, the body just breaks down and there's nothing we can do, but that's not the whole story. The truth is, there's a silent but powerful force working behind the scenes of aging, one that controls your strength, your energy, and even your independence. And it's muscle, not just muscle for lifting things, but muscle as a metabolic engine, a glucose sponge, and a hormone-producing organ that regulates your health span. I'm about to reveal doesn't just prevent muscle loss, it actively supports muscle regrowth. It's backed by real clinical studies in adults over 70, and yet most seniors are barely getting enough of it, especially at the time of day when it matters most. This one dietary change could be the difference between needing help to get out of a chair and walking independently into your 80s. In this video, we'll go deep into the science, no hype, no shortcuts, just data, physiology, and practical tools you can apply starting today. You'll learn what actually causes muscle loss after 60 and why it speeds up after 70. The one food that flips your body's muscle building, switch back on, the exact amount and timing needed to overcome age-related anabolic resistance, and how to combine this food with simple resistance moves to get measurable strength gains in just weeks. Are you ready to take back control of your strength? Let's get started. When most people think of muscle, especially as they get older, they imagine strength or balance. And while that's part of the story, it barely scratches the surface, because muscle isn't just tissue that helps you move. It's one of the most powerful metabolic organs in your entire body. Here's why. That matters after you eat. Where does most of the sugar, your blood glucose, go? Not into fat. Right away, it goes into your muscles. In fact, muscle is responsible for clearing up to 80% of the glucose from your bloodstream after a meal. The more muscle you have, the better your blood sugar control. Now, imagine what happens when muscle disappears. Glucose clearance slows down, blood sugar rises over time. This leads to insulin resistance, inflammation, fat gain, and even cognitive decline. That's why low muscle mass is strongly linked to diabetes, heart disease, and even Alzheimer's. After age 30, most people lose 3 to 8% of muscle every decade, but after 60, that loss speeds up. This isn't just getting older. It's called sarcopenia, and it's a serious health risk, not because you can't lift things, but because it threatens your independence. Picture two seniors, both 75. One has stayed strong, the other hasn't. They both fall. One bounces back, the other ends up in long-term care. The difference isn't luck, it's muscle reserve. Think of muscle like a savings account. The more you build now, the more protection you have later. It's not about building biceps. It's about staying mobile, avoiding the hospital, and living life on your terms. Before we talk food, we need to reframe muscle, not just as strength, but as a life-saving organ. Let's go deeper into what actually causes age-related muscle loss. The medical term is sarcopenia, a progressive loss of muscle mass, strength, and function. It typically begins in your 30s, but accelerates sharply after 60 left unchecked. It leads to frailty, falls, loss of mobility, and reduced independence. But sarcopenia isn't just about aging, it's about input. Your body is still capable of building muscle in your 60s, 70s, even 80s. The challenge is something called anabolic resistance. This refers to a reduced ability of older muscles to respond to the same signals that used to build muscle easily when you were younger, especially dietary protein. Think of it like this. When you're young, your muscles respond quickly to protein. A 2-year-old might trigger muscle growth with just 20 grams, but at 70, you may need 35 high P, 40 grams of high T quality protein to get the same effect. It's not because your body is broken. It just needs a stronger signal. The good news, anabolic resistance isn't permanent. It can be overcome. The two keys are eating the right type and dose of protein and combining it with the right kind of physical signal resistance training. Together, they reignite muscle protein synthesis even in older adults. So if you've been eating enough protein but still feel weaker with each passing year, the problem might not be how much you're eating, it's how and when. And if you're not pairing that protein with even light strength training, you're missing half the benefit. The goal isn't perfection, it's stimulation. Signal the body, feed the muscle, and over time it responds even at 75. So what's the one food that can actually reverse muscle loss even in your 70s or beyond? It's not a pill, it's not some exotic superfood, it's whey protein isolate, a simple, accessible, and highly effective form of protein backed by clinical studies. Whey isolate delivers the highest concentration of leucine, the key amino acid that directly triggers muscle protein synthesis. In fact, a randomized trial published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that older adults over 70 who consumed leucine-enriched whey protein for 12 weeks gained more muscle mass strength and walking speed compared to those who didn't. Why? Because leucine acts like an ignition key for your muscle engine. Whey protein isolate contains around 10 chi 12% leucine by weight. That's about 2.5 grams of leucine per 25 grams of protein. This hits the threshold needed to overcome anabolic resistance in older adults and activate muscle-building pathways. But whey isn't the only food that works. Eggs, especially whole eggs, are another powerful option. They're rich in bioavailable protein, naturally high in leucine, and easy to digest. Plus, they're simple to prepare boiled, scrambled, or mixed into meals for seniors with appetite or dental issues. Eggs can be far more manageable than chewing through tough meats. What about plant proteins? They can help, but most are lower in leucine and less absorbable. That means you'd need to eat much larger portions, often unrealistic for those with smaller appetites. This isn't about ideology, it's physiology. For reversing muscle loss in seniors, whey and eggs are the gold standard. They're not just food, they're tools to protect your independence. Most people think they're eating enough protein, but in older adults, it's not just how much protein you eat, it's when you eat it and how it's distributed. Here's the problem. Many seniors start their day with toast, cereal, or just coffee. Lunch might have a little protein, maybe a sandwich. Then dinner is packed with 50 or more grams. While the daily total may look fine on paper, this lopsided intake misses the mark. Why? Because muscle protein synthesis is threshold dependent, especially in older adults. Each meal needs to deliver about 2.5 grams of leucine, which translates to 30 40 grams of high-quality protein per sitting. Fall below that, and your body won't activate muscle building. It might still use that protein, but not to grow or repair muscle. Studies prove this one in the Journal of Nutrition. Compared to groups of older adults, both consume 90 grams of protein daily. One spread it evenly out at each meal. The other skewed it light at breakfast and lunch, heavy at dinner. The evenly distributed group showed significantly better muscle protein synthesis and nitrogen balance, key markers of muscle preservation. So here's a simple fix. Front load your day with protein. Try this. Breakfast whey shake plus Greek yogurt. Lunch chicken or tuna salad with quinoa. Dinner salmon with lentils or eggs and vegetables. Each meal hits the anabolic threshold. And no higher protein intake is not harmful to your kidneys unless you already have serious kidney disease. For healthy older adults, 1.2 to 1.6 grams per kg of body weight is both safe and ideal. Think of protein as your body's construction material, but it only builds muscle when it gets the right dose at the right time. If protein is the material your body uses to build muscle, and then resistance training is the blueprint, without that signal, your body has no reason to preserve or grow muscle, especially as you age. Here's the problem. Most seniors aren't doing enough resistance work, and without that mechanical stimulus, even the best protein won't work. Why? Because your muscles respond to tension, not time. If they're not being challenged, your body assumes they're no longer needed and starts breaking them down. This isn't about lifting heavy weights or joining a gym. The goal is consistent mechanical loading, using resistance to activate your muscle fibers, and the science is clear. Even minimal training leads to major benefits. A meta-analysis in Aging Research Reviews reviewed over 40 trials in adults. Over 60, it found that resistance training, especially when combined with adequate protein, will lead to significant improvements in lean mass, strength, and function. Another study in the Journal of Gerontology showed that adults over 75 who did just 2 resistance sessions per week gained muscle and reduced fall risk in just 12 weeks. Here's a starting protocol. 2 per week, 15-20 Minuten Notice. Chair squats, wall push-ups, step-ups, resistance band rows. Start slow, use control, 2 seconds up, 2 seconds down, and progress by increasing reps or adding resistance. And if you have joint pain or mobility issues, try seated exercises, isometric holds, or water-based movement. The goal is activation, not exhaustion. Because here's the truth, your muscles don't know your age. They only respond to tension, send the signal, and they'll adapt. Muscle isn't just about strength or mobility. It's one of the strongest predictors of how long and how well you live, what scientists call your health span. That's the number of years you live, free from disease, disability, and dependence, not just the total years on your calendar. Large studies have shown that seniors with higher muscle mass consistently have lower risk of chronic disease and death, independent of weight or BMI. For example, the American Journal of Medicine followed over 3,600 older adults and found that those with low muscle mass had significantly higher all-cause mortality. Another landmark study, the Health ABC study, tracked adults over 70 for 6 years. Those in the lowest muscle mass and strength group were twice as likely to develop functional limitations and disabilities. But it's not just observational. Clinical trials confirm resistance training and adequate protein intake reduce falls, hospitalizations, and even depressive symptoms in seniors. Remarkably, these benefits occur even in people in their 80s. And 90 seconds. Think of muscle as your body's biological reserve, a savings account you draw on when illness, injury, or stress hit. More muscle means better immune resilience, faster recovery, and greater independence. One of my patients in her 80s underwent aggressive cancer treatment. Her doctors were amazed at her recovery speed. Why? Because she'd built and maintained her muscle over decades. The takeaway: losing muscle isn't an inevitable part of aging. It's a modifiable risk factor, and investing in muscle today is investing in your future independence and quality of life. Let's wrap up. What we've learned: muscle loss in seniors isn't inevitable. It's a problem of underuse and undernourishment. The good news: you have the power to change the trajectory. We explored 6 key pillars. Muscle is a metabolic organ, critical for glucose regulation, immune health, and resilience. Leucine-rich protein, especially whey, isolate, and eggs, are essential for stimulating muscle growth. especially when anabolic resistance sets in. Anabolic resistance is not permanent. It can be overcome with the right protein dose and timing. Protein timing and distribution matter. Aim for 30 IA, 40 gigabytes high-quality protein per meal, especially breakfast. Resistance training is the biological signal your muscles need to grow and stay strong. Just 2 sessions a week of simple exercises can transform your strength and function. Muscle mass strongly predicts health span and longevity. It's your best defense against disease, disability, and dependence. Now, here's your simple challenge for the next 7 days. AD1 resistance exercise into your routine: chair squats, wall push-ups, or step-ups. Pair it with a meal containing 30 grams of high-quality protein, like whey isolate, eggs, or Greek yogurt. Repeat this 3 times a week. That's it. No crash diets, no extreme workouts, just consistent science-backed action. You'll begin to feel stronger, more energetic, and more resilient. More importantly, you'll be rewiring your body to shift from decline to growth. Aging is inevitable, but muscle loss is optional. Your body still responds to smart input. The window hasn't closed. If this resonates, subscribe to join our community focused on health span over hype and strength over shortcuts. Leave a comment. What's one small change you're committing to this week, and share this with someone who needs it. Train with purpose, eat with intention, and never stop investing in your future self.